She believed I'd crumble and plead for her forgiveness. That was her catastrophic error. When she scoffed, "All right, go ahead and walk away," her eyes gleamed with the smug assurance of someone convinced they'd already won. She was certain I'd slink back, shattered and needy without her. But I gathered my belongings without a single word. No arguments, no desperate appeals, just carefully folded garments, neatly arranged shoes, and the quiet click of the door as I departed. My silence unnerved her. I could see it in the fleeting uncertainty that crossed her face as I passed by. She didn't grasp that my quiet was my most lethal tool. For 7 years we had been bound in marriage. 7 years of shared suppers in hushed tones, whispered promises, and nights where I thought we were building a life together. I toiled long hours at my job. She complained I seemed weary. I believed I was constructing a stable future for us. Meanwhile, she was inviting another man into our bed. At first, I ignored the signs, the late-night texts she'd concealed by flipping her phone face down, the unfamiliar fragrance of perfume lingering on her after errands, the growing chill and kisses that once radiated warmth. I told myself it was merely stress that she'd returned to me, that our love could still hold us together. But love doesn't thrive in shadows. Love doesn't chuckle softly into a phone the instant the shower's hum begins. In my heart, I sensed the truth long before I held proof. The revelation struck on a Tuesday. She stood in the kitchen humming softly. Her phone lit up with a message from an unknown sender. His words were bold, territorial, the kind a man writes when he believes he possesses someone. My throat tightened with a bitter metallic taste as I forced myself to remain composed. She stirred a pot, tossing me a smile as if all was well. But the woman before me was no longer my partner. She was a stranger wearing her familiar skin. I didn't challenge her right away. Impulsiveness is for the careless. Retribution belongs to the strategic. Silently, deliberately, I began gathering proof. Bank records, call logs, GPS tracks from her car. I pieced together our financial past, uncovering luxury purchases I'd never seen, weekend wellness retreats that masked hotel trysts with him. I enlisted a private investigator. Within weeks, I held photographs, her fingers laced with his, their mouths pressed together in parking lots, bars, even outside the home I'd funded. Every deception she spun was cataloged, dated, and stored in a file thick enough to crush her excuses. Then I started shifting the pieces on the board. I funneled my earnings into a new account, closed the joint credit card she'd been siphoning, and quietly consulted a divorce attorney her own father had once recommended, saying, "If she ever betrays you, don't hesitate." The irony wasn't lost on me. While she giggled with her lover, I was crafting a blade from paperwork, legal advice, and unyielding determination. The night she tried to shatter me finally arrived. We clashed. Or rather, she mocked while I remained composed. She called me distant, claimed I no longer measured up to her desires. Then she hurled her taunt, her words dripping with malice. "If you're so miserable, just go." She expected me to explode or cling to her. Instead, I met her stare with unwavering calm, turned, and began packing. Her confidence wavered. "You're really doing this?" she asked, her voice edged with uncertainty. "Yes," I answered. Nothing more. That night, I walked away. To her, it was a victory. To me, it was the first step toward her defeat. The tempest broke soon after. Her father called, his voice heavy with fury. "What's happening? Why did you abandon her?" he demanded. I invited him over and handed him the dossier, photos, receipts, texts. I watched his jaw tighten as he flipped through each page. This was a man who prized loyalty and family honor above all. His daughter had been his pride. Now she was his shame. When he finished, his hands trembled. He looked at me, his gaze fierce. "I'll take care of this," he said. I didn't ask for specifics. I didn't need them. 2 nights later, her call came. Her voice quivered, panicked. "What have you done?" she demanded. I nearly smirked. "What do you mean?" I asked. "My father," she stammered. He stormed in, yelling, brandishing photos. "He knows it all. He said I disgraced him. He's disowned me." Her sobs crackled through the phone. The arrogance had evaporated. The woman who dared me to leave now sounded like a child who torched her own life. I said nothing. Silence. My sharpest weapon struck once more. Her world unraveled swiftly. Her father cut off his financial aid. Friends she'd bragged to now whispered about her betrayal. Her lover vanished the moment her funds ran dry. I heard through shared acquaintances that she'd pleaded with him to stay. But men like him don't love, they prey. When the feast ended, he sought fresher targets. She reached out to me again, offering tearful apologies and vows to change, but I was already beyond her grasp. My attorney filed for divorce, armed with undeniable proof of her unfaithfulness. I retained the house, the savings, and, in a twist, her father's quiet respect. I can still see her face when her father burst in, slamming the dossier on her table, bellowing, "Do you realize what he's done?" Not anger, not fear, but the dawning awareness that I wasn't the weakling she'd pictured. While she played her secret games, I'd built a noose in full view. She thought I'd grovel. Instead, I let her destroy herself. Now I sit in my home, tranquil and restored from the ruins she thought she'd left me in. Do I miss her? No, you can't miss a ghost. Do I regret it? Not for an instant. She told me to go, and I did. In doing so, I set her world aflame. Betrayal taught me that silence slices deeper than shouts. Patience cuts sharper than rage. And when retribution arrives, it doesn't need to roar. It only needs to murmur.